Parshas Vayeshev always coincides with Chanuka. What's the connection between the two? It says in Vayeshev that Yosef's brothers, rather than kill him, decided to throw him into a pit. The Torah says the pit was empty, there was no water in it. Rashi comments that if the pit was empty, that means obviously there was no water in it, and the phrase is redundant, and so he answers that when the Torah tells us there was no water in it, the Torah implies that even though there was no water in it, there were snakes and scorpions at its bottom. The Gemara in Shabbos, Chav Beis Amud Beis, says that the Chanuka lights cannot be placed more than 20 amot above the ground. That's about 32 feet or nearly 10 meters. Rashi and other commentators explain that the lights are placed above 20 amos, then they can't easily be seen by a person passing by in the street, and that's lacking in the Pesumei Nisa, the proclamation, the advertising, so to speak, of the miracle. Now, immediately following this law, the Gemara over there interrupts the discussion about Chanuka and tells us that the pit into which Yosef was thrown was empty of water, but it contained snakes and scorpions, as we said above. Why did the Gemara interrupt its discussion of Chanuka and start talking about the verse in our Parsha? The Torah Tamima suggests that the juxtaposition of these two passages is to teach us the limitations of human vision. And just as an object 20 amos high is not readily observable, so too the brothers were unable to clearly see the bottom of the pit, and therefore they did not realize that they'd thrown Yosef into a pit containing snakes and scorpions. Chanuka is all about seeing and the limits of human vision. We're not allowed to use the Chanuka lights to illuminate our home. We may only look into the light itself, we may only gaze into its depth. Why can't we use the light of Chanuka for some other sacred purpose? Why can't we use their glow to read words of Torah, for example, or to say Tehillim, Psalms? What sets aside the Chanuka lights from every other worldly light? Why may we only gaze into the light? And what are we supposed to see there? Darkness. You turn on a light. Light has two powers. Firstly, your surroundings are illuminated. You can see what's around you. And secondly, there's the light itself, the source of the illumination. When we look at our surroundings, our perception of the light is second-hand. It's reflected. It's enlightenment, but it's not the light itself. When we look at the light itself, we see the source. There are two words in Hebrew that are spelled identically. They have different vowels, but their letters are the same. One is the word for proof, raya, and the other is the word for sight, re'iyah. These two words express the two aspects of light. Raya, proof, is the reflection of the light, the verification that the light exists by the fact that it illuminates our surroundings. Re'iyah, sight, is seeing the source. In Tehillim, in Psalms, David HaMelech, King David writes, Kimcho makor chayim, ba'orcho nire or. For with you Hashem, is the source of light. In your light do we see light. Because the Creator is the source of life, His light cannot be perceived by reflection. We can't use the lights of the Chanuka for any purpose, however holy, for with you is the source of life. When we look into the lights of Chanuka, we're looking into the source of life itself. To the ancient Greeks, what is beyond the mind of man does not, by definition, exist. The Greek view of the world is a world of evidence, of raya. It's a world of reflected light. The Greeks constantly engaged Chazal, the sages of the Talmud, challenging them to give incontrovertible evidence that the Torah works. Prove to us, they said, that Brit Milah causes some empirical improvement in a person, that keeping Shabbos causes a physical change in a person or in the world. But the Torah doesn't conform to Greek thought. It doesn't observe the world. It's the source of the world. The Torah is lacking in empirical proofs because it is not a description of that which already exists. It is the source of that which is to be. It depicts an existence that has not yet come. It is the source, not the outcome. It is the light and not its reflection.